Right, guys. Good morning. This video, this special live streaming is for explain you the functions lesson. Okay, guys. මේ පළවෙනි මේ video මේ mathematics lesson යටතේ අපි අලුතෙන් release කරන මේ video mathematics වල functions කියන පාඩම සම්බන්ධයෙන් තමයි විස්තර කරන්නට යන්නේ. I will open my notepad also with this one in order to explain you the things. Okay. This lesson is called the functions. Functions. Okay. Now we want to understand why we are learning this function. Function, guys, now you are a biomedical students. Okay. Biomedical students. When you are studying biomedical means biomedical engineering or the biomedical technology means you will be enrolling with, you will be involving with something which is related to biomedical engineering, biomedical imaging, image processing, and also the computer vision technologies, and also biometrics, bioinformatics, instrumentations, like those things. Those are some of the fields that you are involving with. Also the neuroscience. All of those parts, some sort of mathematical involvement will be there. If you consider about image processing, you have to know some sort of analysis part. If you're involved with bioinformatics also, you want to have some sort of analysis. To have this analysis, you want to have something related to statistics and also something related to mathematics. The reason is to do the analysis part, you want to have this type of mathematical knowledge. And also, when you go deeper into this field, you want to know machine learning and also the deep learning. So, those areas, to understand the machine learning and the deep learning parts, you want to know the knowledge of the algebra and the calculus. So these functions are, this function lesson is the fundamental for the calculus. අපි දැන් විස්තර කරොත් ළමයි අපි මේ biomedical engineering field එක ගත්තම ඔයාලා ඒකට සම්බන්ධව ඔයාලා ඉස්සරහට වැඩ කටයුතු කරගෙන යද්දී මම විස්තර කරන්නේ අපි මේ functions කියන mathematics lesson එකයි වැදගත් වෙන්නේ කියන එක biomedical students ලට. ඉස්සරහට ඔයා වැඩ කටයුතු කරගෙන යද්දී ඔයා වැඩ කරන්න යනවා bioinformatics side එකෙන්, ඒ වගේම instrumentation side එකෙන්, ඒ වගේම biomedical imaging පිළිබඳ study කරන ඒවා, neuroscience ස්නායු විද්‍යාව පිළිබඳ study කරනවා. මේ හැම එකකදීම ඒවට සම්බන්ධ වෙලා ඔයාලට තියෙනවා යම් විශ්ලේෂණයක් ගන්න. යම් ඇනලිසිස් පාර්ට් එකක් ගන්න සිද්ධ වෙනවා. ඔය ඇනලිසිස් එක කරන්නට ඔයාලට ස්ටැටිස්ටික්ස් නොලෙජ් එක සහ මැතමැටික්ස් නොලෙජ් එක අවශ්‍යයි. එතකොට මේකෙදි තවත් ඔය ඩීප් යනවා. මැෂින් ලර්නින්, ඩීප් ලර්නින් වගේ දේවලුත් ඔයාලට ඉගෙන ගන්න සිද්ධ වෙනවා. එතකොට ඔය දේවල් වලට අවශ්‍ය වෙන දේවල් තමයි මේ ඇල්ජිබ්‍රා සහ කැල්කියුලස් කියලා කියන්නේ. ඒ කියන්නේ ඇල්ජිබ්‍රා කියලා කියන්නේ විචක. කැල්කියුලස් කියලා කියන්නේ කලනය. එතකොට මේ ඔය දේ තේරුම් ගන්නට ෆන්ඩමෙන්ටල් වෙන දේ තමයි මූලික වෙන දේ තමයි ෆන්ක්ෂන්ස්. ඒ නිසා තමයි අපි ෆන්ක්ෂන්ස් කියන පාඩම ඉගෙන ගන්න. මේ ෆන්ක්ෂන්ස් ඉගෙන ගත්තම ඔයාලට කැල්කියුලස් වල මූලික ස්ටේජ් එක තේරෙනවා. කලනයේ මූලික ස්ටේජ් එක තේරෙනවා. Right. Now we will move to understand what is this function, so that I will be using one of the open source website. Earlier also I have used one of the open source website that is called Maths Fun, and here also we are using that site. We'll see. Yeah, this is that site. Okay, this math is fun. Okay, you can use these sites, and nicely interactive way they have visualize the thing. So I will be using this one. So when you come to this Maths is Fun, you can go scroll down and you can come to this functions part. and come to this functions part and go to this definition of a function. And I will put this thing in the description of this video also. And click this definition of function. May Maths is fun කියන වෙබ්සයිට් එකට මම යන්න කිව්වා ඔයාලට ඒක ගොඩක් ඉන්ටරැක්ටිව් එකකින් ඔයාලට පහසුවෙන් දේවල් විෂුවලයිස් කරලා ඉගෙන ගන්නට පුළුවන් කියලා කිව්වා. ඒකට ඒකට යන්න මම ඒක YouTube එකේ link මේ description එකේ දාලා තියන්න ඒ link එකේ යන්න. Right now we are going to understand what is a function. A function relates an input to an output. Function relates to an input to an output. Function relates an input to an output. If there is an input and there is an output, these two are linked by using the function. යම් කිසි input එකක් තියෙනවා යම් කිසි output එකක් තියෙනවා. මෙන්න මේ දෙන්නව link කරන්න තමයි මේ function කියන එක භාවිත කරන්නේ. සිංහලෙන් අපි කියනවා ශ්‍රිතයක් කියලා function. It is like a machine that has an input and an output. It is what? It is like a machine. It has an input and also output. As an example, if you consider about dimmer circuit, or if you consider about light sensitive circuit in electronics, light sensitive this as the sensor you are using LDR. Okay, light dependent resistor is using for as the sensor. As the output, when the light is the light intensity is low or light intensity high, it will be sensed by using the sensor LDR, and according to that, a bulb will be lit. Okay, bulb will be lit according to the intensity of the light. That means the bulb is the output. Okay, now there is input and also output. Now these are linked by using that circuit. Okay, that circuit is a function. It is like a machine that has an input and an output. මම කියමු මොකද්ද? අපි ගත්තොත් එහෙම ඔය ඔයාලා ඉගෙනගෙන නැති LDR circuits bio system students ලා වගේම engineering students ඉගෙනගෙන තියෙනවා ආලෝක සංවේදී පරිපථ ගැන electronics වල A level වල. එතකොට okay අපි භාවිතා කරනවානේ sense එකක් LDR එකක් පාවිච්චි කරපු sense එකක් පාවිච්චි. ඒක පාවිච්චි කරන ආලෝකය ආලෝක තීව්‍රතාව වැඩි හෝ අඩු වෙද්දී ඒකට සමගාමීව output එක විදිහට බල්බයක් පත්තු කරන්න පුළුවන්. එතකොට ඒකේ input එකක් තියෙනවා output එකක් තියෙනවා. ඔය input output අතර ක්‍රියාව සිද්ධ කරන්නේ මොකක් වෙයිද? අර අපේ ආලෝක සංවේදී හෝ අකෘති සංවේදී පරිපථයමයි. ඒතර ඒක මොකක් විදිහට හැසිරෙන්නේ? ඒක function එකක් විදිහට තමයි හැසිරෙන්නේ. එතකොට මේ this function notation for the function is the fx. Fx is the classic way of writing the function. මේ function එකක් ලියන the traditional way of writing the function is fx. Fx is the classic way of writing a function, and there are other ways, as you will see. There are other ways also we can learn when you are going further, but normally to represent a function we can say fx. X is the variable and f is the function. X is the variable and f is the function. Input relationship and output. We'll see input relationship and output. We will see many ways to think about functions, but there are always three main parts. Okay, when we are going to think about a function, there are many ways to think, but there are main three parts in the function. First thing is the input, second thing is the relationship, and the third thing is the output. පළවෙනි එක තමයි දැන් අපි ෆන්ක්ෂන් එකක් ගැන කතා කරද්දී ඒ ෆන්ක්ෂන් එක කියලා හිතන්න පුළුවන් ආකාර ගොඩක් තියෙනවා. නමුත් ප්‍රධාන වශයෙන් ෆන්ක්ෂන් එකක් කිව්වම අපේ ඔළුවට එන්න ඕනේ දේවල් තුන. එකක් තමයි ඉන්පුට් එක, අනිත් එක තමයි අවුට්පුට් එක. ඒ වගේම මේක ලින්ක් කරන රිලේෂන්ෂිප් එක තමයි තුන්වෙනි එක. Input, relationship and output. Example, multiply by 2 is a very simple function. If you consider about multiplying by 2 or multiplying by any number can be considered as a function. Okay, how do we understand it, whether it is a function or not? It has an input. Okay, you have to multiply some numbers by 2. Input is then 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, any other numbers that you are putting is the input. What is the relationship? Multiply by 2. Okay, multiply by 2. What is the output you are getting? The number, the input, when you are multiplying by 2, the result is the output. Bindu, දෙකෙන් වැඩි කරොත් බින්දු. 1 දෙකෙන් වැඩි කරොත් 2 යනාදී වශයෙන් එන output එක ඔයාලට ගන්න පුළුවන්. එතකොට මේක input එක තියෙනවා, relationship එක තියෙනවා, output එක. Some examples of functions. X squared is a function. X squared is a function. Why we are telling those things? We will learn later why we are calling it as a function. You know that it has a relationship. X, there will be input, and x into x is this x squared. There is a relationship, and you can get the output. X cube plus 1 is also function. Sine, cosine, and tangent are functions used in trigonometry. And there are lots more. But we are not going to look at specific functions. Instead, we will look at the general idea of function. Now we are going to know about the general idea of a function. What is the general idea of a function? Okay, name. First, it is useful to give function a name. Function should have a name. The most common name is f, but we can have other names like g or even anything. Okay. Normally, to represent a function, we will be using the notation called simple f. No need to use always the simple f. Normally, we can use also g, h, like that way. Also, simple letters we can use to represent functions. But the most common thing is the simple f. Function එකක් සාමාන්‍යයෙන් represent කරන්නේ f. Simple f තමයි අපි භාවිතා කරන්නේ. f ට අන්තරව simple g, h වගේ ඒවා පාවිච්චි කරනවා function එකක් represent කරන්න. ඒකට ඔන්න බලන්න function එකක ඔන්න representation එක. Function name is this one. F is the function name. X is the variable that is we are considering as the input. මේ x කියන්නේ මොකද්ද? Input එක. ඊට පස්සේ මේක සමාන වෙනවා මේ function with this input equal to the x squared. X squared is what? Output. ඒතර දැන් අපි x squared කියලා output එකක් ගන්නෙ f සහ මේ input එක සම්බන්ධ කරොත් when we are linking this input x and the function f, what we are getting the output. Okay, what is that output? That is the x squared. Right? We say f of x equal x squared. We say f of x equals x squared. F of x, we are calling, how do we call this one? F of x, that is equal to what? X squared. May f of x, may x වල ශ්‍රිතය කියන්නේ එතන සම්බන්ධතාවක ඇති. මේ x සම්බන්ධ වෙලා තිනවා f මගින්. ඒකේ output එක අපිට ලැබෙනවා මොකක් කියලාද? x squared. What goes into the function is put inside parentheses after the name of the function. What goes into the function is put inside parentheses. මේ function එක තුලට දානවා මොනවද? input. Input තමයි මේ parentheses ඇතුලේ දාන්නේ. මේ parentheses කිව්වේ වරහ. What you are putting as the input is inside the parentheses. Okay, the output will be in the other side of the assignment operator. Assignment operator means this equal sign. Fx equals x squared shows us that function f takes x and squared. What is the meaning of this fx equals x squared? We are putting inside this x, and f takes this x and giving the output as x squared. Okay, x function f takes x and square it. The example with fx equals x squared, if you put an input as 4, 4 will be squared. 4 squared is what? 16. F of 4. F of 4 is 4 squared. F of 3 is what? 3 squared. F of 1 is what? 1 squared. මෙතෙන්ට එක දැම්මොත් එකේ වර්ගය 1යි. දෙක දැම්මොත් දෙකේ වර්ගය 4යි. 3 දැම්මොත් 3 වර්ගය 9යි. Like that way it is going. The 1. What you are putting there, it will be squaring, because the reason is f and x, the relationship is when you are taking input, and it will be squaring according to this relationship. The x is just a placeholder. Okay. The one important fact here, you have to understand, what is this x? X is the input. Input is just a placeholder. That is just staying there. Don't get too concerned about x. It is just there to show us where the input goes and what happens to it. Now, x means what? It is a variable. That variable represents what? It is representing the values of input. So this function fx equals 1 minus x plus x squared. Now, this is another function. Fx equals 1 minus x plus x squared is the same function as this function. Okay, now see, this function fx equals 1 minus x plus x squared. If you say another placeholder fy equals 1 minus y plus y squared. The same thing, okay, same thing. If you put fg equals 1 minus g plus g squared. If you put theta, 1 minus theta plus theta squared. All of these things represents the same thing. That means this x, q, a, theta, all of those things are just the variables. The variables x, q, a is just there. So we know where to put the values. By using these variables, we know only the thing where we have to put the values. X තිබ්බොත් x අපි value එකක් දෙන්න. y තිබ්බොත් y ට අපි value එකක්. එහෙම කියලා මේ xy තිබ්බ කියන එක ප්‍රශ්නයක් අපිට වෙන්නේ නැහැ. Okay, what will happen? If you put f2 instead of x, we can put 2. Instead of q also, we can put 2. f2 equals what? 1 minus 2 plus 2 square. And you can get the value. Sometimes there is no function name. In some cases, there won't be a name for the function. Sometimes a function has no name, and we see something like this: y equals x squared. There is no name, but that name is what? The function is what? Y. But there is still an input x. You know that there is an input. What is that input? How do you identify the input here? Okay, this x is the input. Okay, a relationship is squared. What is the relationship? It is getting squared. And an output is what? What is the output? Output value is the y. Y is the output. The getting value, y is the output. X is the thing that we are input, we are inserting, and x squared is the relationship. Relative. At the top, we said that a function was like a machine. But a function doesn't really have bells or cogs or any moving parts, and it doesn't actually destroy what we put into it. Earlier, we told that function is just like a machine, but machine has some movable parts. But here, it is like a virtual machine. Okay, it doesn't have any moving parts or bells, and it doesn't destroy anything. A function relates an input and output, input to an output. Saying f4 equals 16, that is that squaring function, is like saying 4 is somehow related to 16. Then f4 equals 16 means, what is the meaning of this f4 equals 16? The input is somehow related to the output. What is the input? That is 4. What is the output? That is 16. 4 relates to 16. How those things are related? 4 squared is 16. That means squaring is the relationship. Example, the tree grows 20 centimeters every year. So the height of the tree is related to its age using the function h. Okay, they have given an example. The tree grows 20 centimeters every year. So the height of the tree is related to its age. Every year, tree grows 20 by 20 centimeters. So age is the variable, so we can keep it as the placeholder. H is the function name. H equals age into 20. So if the age is 10 years, the height is what will happen? You can put age as 10. 10 equals 10 into 20. By multiplying, where you can get the values. Okay, you can have a table like that way and get the things. What types of things do functions process? What are the things function process? What are the things function have? Which number? Number seems an obvious answers, but which numbers? Functions have numbers. Okay, function consists numbers. Which sort of numbers? For example, the tree height function age equals age into 20 makes no sense for an age less than 0. According to this thing, you know that age cannot be below 0. Then it will be meaningless. Age is below 0 means meaningless. So the number, according to function, it should have a meaningful value. It could also be letters A to B. Also, the function can be can consist of letters A to B or ID codes like that way, A6309 or alpha. These things we call as alphanumerics. And functions are numbers. නමුත් ඒ numbers අපි යොදා ගන්න function එකට අනුකූලව ඒකට යම්කිසි තේරුමක් තියෙන්න ඕන. ඒ වගේම letters තියෙන්න පුළුවන්. ඒ වගේම alphanumericals ඒ කියන්නේ අංක සහ letters දෙකම තියෙන්නට පුළුවන්. but මේවට යම්කිසි තේරුමක් තිබිය යුතුයි. So we need something more powerful, and that is where sets come. So guys, to have this thing more meaningful, we have to have the another concept that is called the set. What is set? A set is a collection of things. කුලක කියන්නේ set කියන්නේ කුලකවල. A set is collection of things. Here are some examples. Set of even numbers. In the we are putting braces. Braces means සංගලවරහන්. මේ සංගලවරහන් ඇතුලේ තමයි දාන්නේ. මේ කුලක කියන ඒවා සංගලවරහන් ඇතුලේ දාන්නේ. ඒ කුලක දක්වද්දී ඒකට යම්කිසි meaningful value එකක් තියෙන්න ඕනේ. ඒ කියන්නේ ඒකට නිවැරදිව අර්ථ දක්වලා තියෙන්න ඕනේ. It should be well defined. A set is a well defined thing, well defined group. So set of even numbers. We know what is that even numbers. Set of clothes. Okay, that is also meaningful. Like that. A set of positive multiple. Like that. Each individual thing in the set, such as for or hat, is called a member. Now, inside of this set, there are some elements. Those elements are called as members. A function is special, but a function has special rules. To have a function, it has some special rules. It must work for every possible input value. Function should validate all the input values. The function එකක් කියලා අපි හඳුනගන්නේ කොහොමද? function එකක් හඳුනගන්න නම් ඒකේ තියෙන සියලුම inputs තෘප්ත කරන්න. එකක්වත් අතහරින්න බෑ. හරිද? දැන් මම උගන්වද්දී කිසියම් ළමයෙක් අතහැරලා උගන්වන්න ඕනයි. ඒතර හොඳ ගුරුවරයෙක් නෙවෙයි. අන්න ඒ වගේ. Like that way, when I'm teaching, I can't isolate any of the students here. Like that way, function cannot isolate any of the inputs. All the inputs should be satisfied. All the inputs should be satisfied. And the next thing, and it has only one relationship for each input value. And also, function should have only one relationship for each input value. එක relationship එකයි බහු relationship වෙන්න බෑ. එක function එක input එකකට එක relationship එකයි එන්න පුළුවන්. Right? Look at this example. X and Y. Okay, X and Y. All the inputs should be satisfied. That means you have to have a relationship for all the inputs values here. All the inputs values. Now that means it has mapped to somewhere else. Mapped to somewhere else. Here, match to this one. This is matched to this one. This is matched to this one. This is matched to this one. And this is also matched to this one. But this has a unique relationship. You can say, make a match වෙලා තියෙන මේකට විතරයි. මේක match වෙලා තියෙන මේකට විතරයි. Make it match. I make it match. No, that is not a relationship because why? No unique relationship. එක relationship එකයි විතරයි තියෙන්න ඕන, and also it has all the inputs values should be satisfied. Again guys, to become a function, first of all the input domain should be satisfied. හැම input එකක්ම මොකක් හරි output එකට set වෙලා තියෙනවා. Then the second thing, input should have only one relationship. Okay, දැන් අපි මේ input එක ඉන්නවා. එයාට output එකේ කාත් එක්ක හරි සම්බන්ධතාවක් තියෙනවා. එයාට වෙන සම්බන්ධතාවක් තියෙන්න පුළුවන්. නමුත් අපි තියාගන්නේ එයත් එක්ක විතරයි. අපිට එකයි. output එකට ගොඩ තිබ්බට අපිට ප්‍රශ්නයක් නැහැ. හරිද? function එක වෙන්නේ එයාට එක relationship එකයි තියෙන්න ඕනේ input වලට. Input වලට එක relationship එකයි. Input should have only one relationship. You don't want to consider about the output. You are not bothering about the output. You are considering about the input only. You are considering about input only. All the inputs values should be satisfied and input should have only one relationship. So according to those two rules, these x and y are mapped by using function. A function relates each element of a set with exactly one element of another set. A function relates each element of a set with exactly one element of another set. That means there should be two sets and the input set should map with only one relationship and all those inputs values should be satisfied. The two important things. Each element means every element in X is related to some element in Y. Each element means what? Every element in X relates to some element in Y. X වල තියෙන ඕනෑම element එකක X වල තියෙන ඕනෑම එකක් කොහේ හරි එකට set වෙලා තියෙන්න ඕනේ. නමුත් මෙයාට තියෙන එකක් විතරයි. Only one relationship. We said that the function covers X. We call this thing as function covers X. Covers X means you cannot have isolated X, isolated inputs. It has covered everything. And the next thing, exactly one. You should have only one relationship, only one relationship. One to many is not allowed. One to many, that means this one is related to this one and this one is also related to this one. It is not possible. One to many means one has many relationships, cannot possible. In a function, remember that guys, one to many is not possible. What you can say about the many to one? Many to one. Many to means I have one relationship with someone. Another person also in my school has a relationship with that one. That is possible. That is possible. Because we are genuine. We are genuine. I have a relationship with with a girl. Okay. My friends also has this relationship with that girl. But we do not know whether we have a relation. We do not know that we have a relationship with the same one. We are genuine, but that girl is not genuine. But we are genuine and we have exactly one relationship. Okay, I think you understood about the function by this example. Okay, so one to many is not allowed, but many to one is allowed. So you can see according to this one, you can't have this type of isolated thing. Okay, because according to this, there's the rule number one is what we call rule number one is violated. Therefore, this one is incorrect. And what you can say, many to one is possible. So this is a function. When relationship does not follow those two rules, then it is not a function. If those two rules are not followed, then it is not a function. If it is not a function, means it is just a relationship. Function is not function is always a relationship, but all those relationships are not functions. Function is a relationship, but all the relationships are not functions. The relationship x goes to x squared. When we consider about the x and x squared relationship, we'll see whether it is a function. 3, 9, 1, 1, 0, 0, 4, 16, and minus 4 also 16. 4 and minus 4, that means many to one relationship. So it is a function. But 1 to many is not a function. It's a function. So you can understand about that. We'll see this one. This relationship is not a function. Why it is not a function? Okay, all those things are, this is not covered. This is not covered means it is not a function. And what is this one? This is many to one. That is possible, but since it is not covered, it is not a function. Okay. To identify whether it is a function or not, we can use a test called vertical line test. To identify whether something is a function or not, we can use vertical line test. That means you are drawing vertical lines in a graph. If you have given a graph, you can put vertical lines and check whether the lines are crossing only one. Okay, see, okay, now in this diagram, if you draw a vertical line, you can see here, the in here, two places it will be what we call it will be crossed in two places. You cannot have it will be intersected in two places. So if it intersects in two places, you can say it is not a function. If it is a function, it should cross only in one place. On a graph, the idea of single valued means that no vertical line ever crosses more than one value. No vertical line ever crosses more than one value. Now here, this vertical line crosses 2 points. It crosses more than once. It is still a valid curve, but it is not a function. If it is crosses like this way in 2 points, it is a curve. It is a valid curve, but it is not a function. Some types of functions have stricter rules to find out more. You can read injective, surjective, and bijective. We'll be discussing those things later. Now, I think you have understood about the vertical line test to identify a graph, whether it is a function or not. Okay. Those are the things I want to explain from this first lesson. Again, go through this video because I will be allowing this video for a limited time, and understand what is the definition of a function, what is the definition of the set, how do we identify function, what are the 2 rules to identify a function, and how do we identify a graph is a function or not by using the vertical line test. And after identifying the things, okay, we will be coming to the next session. Okay, thank you very much, guys.